So perhaps the most significant finding out of the special counsel's report today is that special counsel Mueller did not find any evidence of criminal conspiracy between anyone associated with the Trump campaign and Russia. That is, there's no quote-unquote collusion that is prosecutable in any way between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin.
It was just announced there was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia.
And that is the question that had been hovering over this investigation from the start. So that's a big victory for the president. It's a really unequivocal victory.
There was no obstruction and none whatsoever.
The other interesting finding of note is on the question of whether the president obstructed justice. And here it's a little bit more complicated. In this particular aspect of the investigation, the special counsel did not reach a conclusion one way or the other as to whether the president obstructed justice. Instead, according to Attorney General Barr, who summarized these findings, Mueller presented evidence on both sides of the ledger for these different episodes involving Trump's behavior that were examined, and then did not reach a conclusion one way or the other. However, Barr said that he and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein had reached their own conclusion based on Mueller's evidence and determined that it was insufficient to establish obstruction of justice.
Somehow that he would summarize it, which I don't want his summary, I want Bob Mueller's report.
So the letter today from the Attorney General, it's a 4-page letter, it marks the conclusion, the real end conclusion of the special counsel's investigation. The major investigation that concerns the president right now is taking place in New York City. That's an investigation into hush money payments that were made to 2 women, one a former Playboy model, the other a porn star, who both say they had sex with the president about a decade before he was elected. And both received money during the campaign effectively to not come forward with their allegations. I think the main takeaway actually is going to be how unsatisfied Democrats are.
All of the information has to be made available. Put it all out, put it on the table, let the American public see what's going on here.
This is a 4-page summary of what appears to be a very lengthy, very detailed report from the special counsel. And there is a suggestion in this letter that the special counsel did find evidence in at least some of the episodes he examined of potential obstruction of justice and simply did not reach a conclusion. So if you're a Democrat on Capitol Hill right now, you want access to all of the special counsel's work.
And for the committees, the 6 committees that are doing their investigation, they need that information.
You want the American public to see all of the evidence he gathered and his underlying report.
It is imperative that the Attorney General release the full report and the underlying evidence.
And so we can expect going forward that is going to be the next big legal front, is this fight between Congress and the Justice Department over how much of Mueller's 2 years of work the public gets to see, especially because on the question of obstruction, it's clear that Mueller did indicate that there's a there. He just didn't reach a conclusion one way or the other.
President Trump is wrong. This report does not amount to a so-called total exoneration. Special counsel Mueller was clear that his report, quote, does not exonerate, close quote, the president.
The regulations actually do not stipulate that the report is made public. That's a judgment call. What the regulations actually mandate is that a confidential report is delivered by the special counsel to the Attorney General who oversees his work. So in this case, that would be Mueller to Barr. It is important to take stock of this moment, that this is a pretty significant victory in terms of this collusion, or no collusion finding, I should say.
So it's complete exoneration, no collusion.
However, there is a reference that is interesting, and that is multiple offers from people connected to Russia, Russian associates, to individuals associated with the Trump campaign offering help. We suspect that's a reference to the Trump Tower meeting that took place in June 2016 between Donald Trump Jr. and a Kremlin-connected lawyer. He took that meeting with the expectation of receiving dirt on Hillary Clinton that could be used and weaponized during the campaign. We also know that a former Trump campaign aide, George Papadopoulos, had a meeting in London where he learned from a professor that Russia had dirt on Clinton in the form of thousands of stolen emails. So we suspect that Mueller's making reference to that, the fact that there are these multiple overtures of help from people connected to Russia, but there's no evidence or no allegation even that either of those two sides work together, and that's a significant conclusion.
I am worried that we have not heard for sure that we're going to get the whole report, and that's what we need to see.
It is possible that House Democrats could come up with a different conclusion on the collusion question. It's not clear how readily embraced by the American public that would be.